Hey y'all, Justin with Kayak Catfish. Well, it is time for me to reload on some catfish bait, and I thought I'd bring you all with me while I do it. What I really want to get today is some live baits. I got my bait tank with me, so I'm gonna get back in this creek here. You know, all these creeks on these large reservoirs, they're all loaded with fish pretty much year round. So I'm just gonna get back here with my ultralight rod and some jigs and just kind of work the brush piles and docks and down trees and pretty much anything we come along down the shoreline there and just catch whatever I can catch. You know, probably some bluegill, maybe some crappie, some bass, and I'm just going to keep a few, stick them in the bait tank for my next catfishing trip. Right now, it's middle of June, we're right in the middle of the catfish spawn, and I am just catching a ton of small catfish out there, but not a lot of good quality catfish. A lot of our big fish are just on the nest right now. It's tough fishing, but part of being able to catch big fish is having baits in the water. And when you're on the small catfish like I have been recently, and they're just constantly on your baits and tearing them up, well, it's hard to keep baits down there long enough for when a big fish does come along. And so what I have found just in my own personal experience is when you're using larger live baits, those smaller catfish will oftentimes leave them alone. They won't touch them. So that allows them baits to set down there longer. So when a big whopper of a catfish does come along, your baits are sitting down there waiting on it. So that's what I want to do today, is get some live baits. And again, I'm gonna bring you all with me while I do it. Let's get back here and get started. For those of you who are new to my ultralight videos, this here is my setup. This is a 6-foot ultralight rod. It's a St. Croix panfish series. I've got an Abu Garcia reel on there. It's spooled with 2-pound test trout magnet SOS line. And then on the business end, we've got a 1/64 ounce jig head with a number 8 hook, and that's got a 1-inch Berkley Gulp minnow on there in the smelt color. And all my gear here is linked down in the video description below if you want more information on it. But this is one of my favorite ways to fish, is just to take these small jigs, and I've already got it. I had one hitting right there. But I take these small jigs and the Gulp minnows, and I work the shoreline basically here, just anything I see, any visible targets, like this tree here sticking out, and I let that jig just fall down. And if it makes its way to the bottom without getting a fish, and we got one right here. This right here is a small bluegill, definitely too small for what we're wanting. I want some bigger live baits. You do catch a lot of small bluegill this size though when you're using these smaller baits. But basically, like I was saying, I let this jig fall down to the bottom. And if I don't get bit, then I just start working it back to me very slowly, just twitching it the whole way. And I'm getting tapped on the way down there as it's falling. There's another one. I would demonstrate the technique, but these fish keep hitting it on the fall. We're gonna move on here. These are just some smaller bluegill on this particular tree. I work these trees very quickly down through here. I make 2 or 3 casts. If I don't get what I'm looking for, I move on to the next one. And I try to cover water. The more water you can cover, the more likely you are to come across there's another one, 3 in a row. The more likely you are to cover, or the more likely you are to come across the fish that you're looking for, the size and the type. So this one here, I'm gonna let him go too. If times get hard today, I may end up keeping some that size, but those smaller catfish will be all over a bluegill that size right there. I'd kind of like to have me a crappie or 2 today. Maybe a live white bass. Heck, if we get a big largemouth, I wouldn't complain. Just something, I need something down there to deter those smaller catfish long enough for a big mama to come along and find my baits. I'm still going to use some cut bait on my next catfishing trip too, but I want to have a big live bait, at least one out there. Now see right here what I'm doing, y'all. So I'm working this rod tip, just kind of twitching it as I reel very slowly back to me. And I'll do that all the way back to the kayak. Fish. There he is. Oh, it's a bass right there. Yeah, I believe that's a largemouth. I felt that thump. I set the hook, he took off. Yeah, buddy, I was hoping we'd see a few of these today. He'll be too small to keep, but he's fun anyway. I ain't just out here to catch bait, y'all. I'm out here to have some fun too. I love ultralight fishing. This is one of the most fun ways to catch fish, because you don't need big fish when you ultralight fishing. Fix that jig on there. That's what he eat. Little minnow. Old largemouth. You on out of here. Go get big. And them bass, you just feel them go thump. And it's time to set the hook. That bass right there, do you see it? I saw him follow it up. I saw him follow the bait up as I was reeling it in. I dropped it right back down in front of him. How awesome is that? I hope that got on camera right there. I hope the camera angle was right to get it. That thing followed that bait up. I was reeling it in, and he followed it up right here. And I put it right back in his face, and he snatched it. Gotta be careful lifting him in with that 2-pound line. I hope that got on camera. That was awesome. How awesome was that? Sometimes that's what it takes, these bass. The bluegill and the crappie like this jig just, they like that jig just falling down in front of their face, but the bass seem to like a more active presentation. That one there is just another little one. We'll let him go. Get him out of here. That was fun though. Let's see if we can do that again. I wouldn't mind catching some bass today. I use them for bait and talk smack about them, but I do enjoy catching them, especially on the ultralight. I've said it before in these ultralight videos, all these fish are fun to catch. When you got an ultralight rod and these small jigs, they all fight hard. It's all about matching your tackle to the size of the fish that you're after. That's the key to really having fun fishing. If you're out here with broomsticks and catching 5-inch bluegill, well, you're not going to have very much fun. They're not going to bend the pole and they're not going to tug very hard, but get your tackle matched right and you can have fun with any kind of fish and any size of fish. Fish. He popped it, buddy. Bluegill. Out in there's big enough. We'll keep him. Yeah, we'll keep that right there, y'all. I'm sitting right on top of a brush pile right now. I was kind of working this jig right on top of it. Yeah, we'll throw him in the tank. Fish. That's a little better fish right there now. I don't know what he is. That's another bass. Yep, that's a bass. I believe that's a smallmouth this time. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, he's a digging too, ain't he? And smallmouth, man, they are hard fighters. Yeah. On a 1-inch gulp minnow, 1/64 ounce jig head. That's a pretty good fish. I'm gonna have to get down here and lift this one because I'll try raising him in by the line. I'll break that line sure as the world. Look at that. Let me get him in the light there. Yeah. Awesome. I'll throw him on the board here. I ain't gonna be able to keep this one. Either these smallmouth have to be 18 inches here. Yeah, that one there, he's a little over 14 inches. Still, that is a nice smallmouth. Great time on the ultralight. Let's let him go get big. See ya, buddy. And he gone. There's a fish. What we got here? A bluegill. It's actually one of the better bluegill I have got this morning, y'all. I have gotten a ton in that 4 or 5 inch range, but not a lot of decent sized bluegill. Ideally, I wouldn't even keep one this size, but just the fact I've come out here to get some live bait, and this is about as good as it's got for me today, I am going to go ahead and throw him in the bucket. I've actually moved to a different creek. The wind has kind of kicked up on me out here, and in the creek I was fishing in, it was blowing right down it. And you ultralight fishermen out there know it don't take very much wind to blow a bow in your line, and when that happens, you lose your ability to feel these subtle bites on these tiny jigs. So I ended up making a move, and I have come up here to a different creek now, and this one's kind of angled different, and it's a little bit smaller, so the wind, I'm completely shielded back here. So we're gonna see if there's any fish back here or not. I've had some fun out here this morning. I've caught a ton of them small bluegill and some small bass, but as far as getting me some larger live baits, it just hasn't worked out today. But having fun is the most important thing, and I have certainly done that this morning. And I'm gonna fish another 30 minutes to an hour probably. I'm gonna work this creek pretty good here. We'll throw in these trees and all that. Maybe we'll find a crappie in here. That's kind of what I was secretly hoping to get, was a good crappie. I ain't seen hiding or hair of them yet today. Fish. I dropped it right down here in these trees and watched him eat it. There's that bluegill there. I've got these trees coming out right here. This water's crystal clear. You can see several feet down in it. I'm just watching my jig go down there. You probably can't see it on camera. I'll watch that fish come up and eat it. I'm setting it right on kind of the top of that tree down there. And beside it, my line just swimming right there. Let's set the hook on him. You can just see my line like a bolt of lightning shooting off. But it's another one of these small bluegill right here. Just a little one. Been the theme of the morning. He's big enough, I guess, with the poor quality I've gotten of bluegill today. He's gonna have to work for me. Just throwing on these trees here. Working my way down through here. It's fun nonetheless, y'all. I've said it in every one of these ultralight videos. When you got a ultralight rod and light line and these jigs, they even fish like that last bluegill. I mean, they just a ton of fun to catch. That tree right there I just threw my line around, it's not as much fun to catch. There it went. But the fish, regardless of species or size, they are fun. Now, I do recommend buying jigs in bulk. I get mine on eBay. Started doing that a couple years ago. That's about the cheapest place to buy your jigs. And you're gonna go, when you're fishing like I am here, throwing into cover, you're gonna go through some jigs. You're gonna get them snagged, or do like I did on that last cast and throw it into a tree. So you want to get these jig heads as cheap as possible. As far as the gulp minnows goes, Amazon's usually the cheapest. They usually have 1 or 2 colors on there that's just for whatever reason cheaper than the rest. So I usually get them on there, and when I find a color that's on sale or cheaper than the rest, I stock up. Like the gulp minnows I have now is from a bunch I bought last year. I loaded up when I had to buy some more. There's another one. Well, that right there is one we'll throw in the bucket. These, you know, again, probably, I don't know, 6 inches. Not a big one. But, lack of a better option, we'll use him. If I don't drop him out of my hand before I get him in the bucket. But at this point, just because I don't have a lot of time left that I'm going to fish, I can't be as selective as I was first thing this morning. I should have probably used a bigger gulp minnow since I was specifically targeting live baits today. I mean, there's another one. But when you use the bigger minnows, you do limit your bites and limit the fish you catch and limit the fun you have. And I wanted to get a few for live baits for my next catfishing trip, but I wanted to have some fun too. That right there is one of the bigger bluegill we've got this morning. Yeah. We'll definitely keep the, about lost him. Well, when he calms down, I'll put him in the bucket. Fish on. Look at this right here. These right here. I forget what these are called. Green sunfish, I'm wanting to say. I can't ever remember the names of these, all these different species of sunfish, but this right here is one of the prettier types of the sunfish that we have here in my area. Look at the orange tips on them fins and the blue there around his mouth, the blue speckles. That's one of them aquarium looking fish right there, ain't it? Go on, buddy, go get big. Get even prettier. Fish. Felt him thump it. That's another one of them old bass right there. One of them old bass fish. It's a smallmouth. Felt him just go bump. We got him. Again, this one's going to be way too small for us to keep. This is just a baby right here. Fun anyway though, folks, and he'll get big someday. That one there tore up my minnow to the point I believe I'm going to need me a new one. I'm going to get that switched out and we'll make another cast. Fish. He's just coming toward me right here, ain't he? He don't know where he wants to go, but he knows he wants to go away from that hook. I don't know what he is. That's a bluegill. That's another one of those. That's comparable to the better size bluegill we've got this morning. We'll put him in the tank anyway. He'll catch us a catfish. He may not be able to stay in the water long enough to get us the big one that we want to get, but he'll catch us something. Another one on. I'll pull a little drag. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah. Seem to be some, I guess you'd call these better quality. Better quality than those little 3, 4, 5 inchers that we've been getting all morning long. But they seem to be a little bit more out toward the mouth of this creek here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put him in the bucket too. I'm gonna make just a few more casts, and I think I'm gonna head back to the car. And there's another fish. I'm gonna make my way back to the car, and this one here's just a little one. And troll, I brought my other rods with me, my skipjack rods, and we'll see if I can't get some skipjack or white bass. And white bass will make the size of bait I need to get. I really wanted to, I could have trolled around out there this morning and got a bunch of white bass, but I really wanted to come out here and do some ultralight fishing too, just kind of do double duty, because I was just in the mood for it today. I just wanted to throw these jigs and have some fun, and I've done it. I just ain't got the quality of the bluegill that I wanted, or the quality of the bass. I ain't got any crappie, but I have had the fun. I'm gonna reel this one in here. Wind's blowing me back up here toward the bank. I'm out here toward the mouth of this creek, and I'm getting out here in the wind now. I was shielded from it back there where I was. I had that jig in a tree, but we'll get it in the water and we might actually catch a fish on it. I catch a lot of them tree fish, huh? I'm good at throwing this jig into the tree. There he is, there's another one. I'm about to blow right in on top of him. Nope, 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 that's another little bass right there. A little smallmouth. Yeah. All right, y'all, I think this one right here, as I blow in on the bank here, let me get this jig out of him, and then I'm gonna have to switch myself around here, or else I'm gonna be doing some bank fishing here in a second. All right, goodness, there we go. Well, there's that little smallmouth. And y'all, I think that's gonna wrap up this ultralight video here. I'm gonna start making my way back to the car here in the next few minutes and just trolling some baits behind me, but between the wind noise out here and the electric motor noise, I probably won't do any filming, but I am gonna try to get a white bass or two, or more if I get on them, to stick in my bucket there for the next catfishing trip. But this morning's trip out here, the quality of the baits I got ain't very good, but I had some fun catching them. I love doing this type of fishing, and it's something that I recommend for everybody, because you need minimal tackle, minimal investment, and you can have a lot of fun doing it. So anyway, guys, I'm about to blow in on this tree. I'm gonna get off these trees and get off the bank here and start making my way back to the car. I'll see you again here soon. We'll do another catfishing video on my next trip out.